Testing, testing. Hello there, and welcome to our show. My name is Lou Whelan. I publish the official relocation guides on Atlanta on behalf of the First Multiple Listing Service of Atlanta. We have 5 publications in Atlanta, one for the metro area on behalf of First Multiple Listing Service, one for Gwinnett County in partnership with the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce, one for North Fulton in partnership with the North Fulton Chamber of Commerce, one for Cobb County in partnership with the Cobb Association of Realtors, and one for Inside 285. They're all available on my website, AtlantaCommunityProfiles.com. I'm also a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Georgia Properties, and I'll be happy to help you with any of your real estate needs, commercial or residential or investment property. My website for that is LouWheeland.com. I'd be happy to help you. The magazines are available in all real estate brokerage firms and chambers of commerce in the metro area, and they're free of charge. Stop in and pick up a free copy. And just by way of overview for the real estate market, last year sales were of single-family detached houses were up 3%. There were 71,000 homes sold in the metro area, detached homes. The average price was $290,488. The prices were up 5% on average. So that's a quick overview. We're forecasting a similar increase for this year in both sales and prices. So if you have nets on single-family detached are experiencing a similar increase. So anyway, that's the story on the real estate market. It's very positive. And as you know, every week, we interview community leaders, people who are contributing to the well-being of our great city. And today we are privileged to have such an individual on our show, Dr. Steve Palmer. Welcome to the show, Dr. Palmer. Great to have you on the program.
Thank you, Lou. I'm glad to be here.
Just by way of introduction, Steve was CEO and founder of state-of-the-art Aviation High School with the Dick DeVos Foundation. He's also served as principal of 3 special education K-8 schools with 600 students with learning differences. Steve has been a national presenter on various special education topics and educational, quote, best practices, a member of numerous state, national, and local boards. Steve has participated with national agencies and associations to reform special education. His background has a doctorate in education, a Master of Science in Educational Leadership, a Master of Science in Counseling, a Bachelor of Science in Education, and a minor in Business and certifications from various states and special educational leadership. Some of his many accolades include, and I'm not going to go and talk because it would take the whole show, include the Dr. Landis Special Education Administrator of the Year. And I will say a couple others, a Tandy Scholars Outstanding Teacher of the Year in his high school in Florida, and on and on and on and on. So great to have you on the show. Thank you for your service to the community. And we appreciate it. So the Cottage School, president and CEO of the Cottage School in Roswell, Georgia.
I'm better known as the head of school in Roswell, Georgia. This is its 33rd year.
33rd year, and it's on Grimes Bridge Road in Roswell, right on the river. Beautiful location there, unbelievable, beautiful spot. The Cottage School, the acronym TCS, was founded in 1985 as an alternative to traditional academic models. And your faculty is absolutely outstanding. In fact, I just read where your middle school teacher, one of your middle school teachers and your high school, one of your high school teachers just won the Teacher of the Year award for independent schools.
Yes, with independent schools here, certified and also sanctioned in various certifications. Example, AAAS is one area. The SACS accreditation, which you're accredited by. So you're accredited by various organizations. This one is GISA, Georgia Independent Schools. So the Georgia Independent School Association, which is all schools that are independent state of Georgia, recognized two outstanding teachers. And to, as a teacher, to receive that award just from your school and your peers is special. To receive that from outside your community is extra special. Now, to have one from your school is great, but it's outstanding to have two. So they represent the whole staff. We have very outstanding educators that are outstanding in the state that work at the school, but kudos to both of our teachers who've done very well.
And that's for the school year 2017-2018, a full year. It looks like you won the two big awards, so congratulations to you as the leader of the school and to them. We appreciate the kind of quality of work that they do for our students in Roswell and across the city. Do you have students coming in from all around Atlanta or just Roswell, or how far out do they come?
Yes, sir. We have about 13 different areas, and I would say 3 different states. We've had people from Alabama, South Carolina, and also Georgia. So we're spread out, and we have a good outreach. And we're servicing about almost 200 students in that aspect of grades 4 through 12.
TCS, and I'll refer to it as an acronym going forward, has been recognized for excellence by distinguished educators, counselors, and psychologists, and was named by the Masters in Special Education Resource Guide as one of their top 50 best private special needs school in the entire United States. So hats off to you. And I read on your website that something that I really liked that you stated, and that was building a sense of self for students with special learning needs through academic and experiential programming. TCS prepares individuals for fulfillment of their true potential as confident, productive, and independent adults. And of course, you offer grades 4 through 12. But what does that mean to you? Building a sense of self. What does that actually mean?
Well, you have to take it back to 33 years ago. The two founders, Jackie and her husband Joe, the JSO. It's part of the mission. That is the mission, and it's been embraced for 33 years, and it's helped a lot of students, over 300 plus, who have graduated, gone on, and become successful in various areas. I think one key element when you look at that mission statement, it's not focused just on the reading, writing, math. That is very important. Every school needs to provide those academic needs, but with the Cottage School, TCS does differently, is it focuses on those social skills and emotional skills that you're going to need to the next level. These students are going to graduate, work in radio, own their own company, have clients. So the school, part of its mission is focused on helping them with hands-on experiential learning, but helping them be self-assured, self-aware, that as they graduate, they are prepared not only academically to go off to college, but also a career that they may want to step into. And we've tried to and worked very hard to give them those soft skills that they're going to need in the real world.
You're fully accredited by Advance Ed, for a lot of the acronyms here, SAIS and SACS. What does that mean?
Excuse me. Schools that are accredited through SACS accreditations, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, assures that the learning and also the diploma and the education is based upon the state's curriculum, and there's lots of guidelines that you must adhere to be part of Advanced Ed, which is SACS accreditation. Public schools, private schools, independent schools, they are associated with that. With us and other independent schools, you have, again, SAIS, which is a Southern Association of Independent Schools. So there's lots of different acronyms of associations that we belong to, which helps us stay accredited, and very proud to be part of all those. And again, 33 years of hard work has gotten the Cottage School where it's at and continues to thrive from there.
So suffice to say, for the layman like myself, was not into this field, but you have all the accreditations that one can have, and to go to any college of your choice or university, and you have everything that is potentially possible to obtain. So
I'd say that and some.
and plus, so your founder was a married couple, Jackie and Joe.
The JSO.
What was their passion? What was their reason for getting involved in this field of education?
Well, to this day, I'm fortunate enough to be the only head of school that followed in both of their footsteps. I could never fill their shoes. They're very passionate educators, and it basically began with Jackie as an educator in Georgia, working with special needs students, and also Joe working with special needs students in the independent school section. So they got together, long story short, as they developed their own school, and it started with a tutoring center and then flourished from there. As you went out to the property, they took that property from 1985. They started school and took that property in 1989, and that's where the Cottage School's been.
We'll be right back after the break. Quite a bit more to talk about. Welcome back. I'm Lou Wieland, and I publish the official relocation guides on Atlanta, having the privilege of interviewing Dr. Steve Palmer, head of school at the Cottage School in Roswell, Georgia, one of the top 10 special education schools in the United States. And when we talk about special schools and special needs, a lot of people don't really understand those terms. I wondered, how would you like to amplify on that so people can understand what that means? And sometimes it's very confusing.
Yes. Basically, a lot of students learn differently. Adults learn differently. So the idea is to teach differently. SLD stands for some people, it stands for specific learning difference or learning disability. To me, SLD stands for smart kids learn differently. So if smart kids learn differently, teach them differently. In my environment experience of education for almost 30 years, a college professor has a group of students and he has them all in the class and he says, I want all my A students to stand up. So all the A students stand up. Very reluctantly, he has C students and he says, stand up. C students, all my C students. So again, reluctantly they do, but when they stand up, he says, now I want all my A students to turn around. Look at your future bosses. So with that in mind, A's, B's, and C's don't always determine the potential, the goal, and the intelligence. And that's historically how people rate you on a grade. However, those students, and the list goes on from Richard Branson to Edison to Einstein, of those who thought differently, and they learned differently. So when you take special ed, you've got to look at, these are very bright individuals, and special ed is broad. You're You're dealing with dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia. So you're dealing with reading, writing, math difficulties. There are students that are on the spectrum of autism, but these are all very bright individuals. I mean, even adults who have grown up and have worked through these. So our program itself and our school itself is to help those smart kids that learn differently. We approach it and we teach them differently.
So there were three areas of difficulty in learning. We talked before the show, which was very interesting. You mentioned anxiety, executive functioning skills, and learning difficulties. Would you mind elaborating on those three areas of difficulty and maybe to help people maybe identify those kinds of difficulties in their students or children?
With the three areas of concerns that they might have difficulty in, I mentioned to parents, when you come and you want to check out the Cottage School and see what we're about, those are three areas that we focus on and emphasize, which when we say anxiety comes in various forms, whether it be being in an oversized class and overstimulated with 30, 40 kids. Anxiety could be there. Anxiety could be coming from you're changing classes, you have 6, 7 teachers, and those teachers might not be as skilled, trained, or qualified to handle students that have various learning differences. Bullying is a key. I mean, back in the day when we were in school, you go home for the summer, bullying goes away. You take that holiday break, bullying goes away. But nowadays with social media, bullying is 24/7. So it makes it very difficult and challenging to raise children nowadays. So we're not even talking about a learning difference. We're talking about those are social issues that students have to deal with. So that's one thing that we try to focus at the school to kind of take away some of that anxiety. Class size is small. We have an anti-bullying program. Plus, we empower our students. One key thing is we empower our students to be leaders. And when I briefly talk about the program, those level 3 students are at the top notch of helping with leading the school. The second area we look at is executive functioning skills. When I see a kid with a backpack and the papers are hanging out, I say he can use some help, some tips. And when we talk about executive function skills, those are skills that we use every day, but we look at short-term memory, long-term memory, structure, organization. As adults, we use it now. Our cell phone, we'd be lost without that calendar. So as a student at our school, we have a structured schedule. There's no surprises. You have a planner, and you know sequentially what you're going to do day in and day out. A third area of emphasis is a learning difference. As I mentioned, that's broad. There are schools that focus on reading, whether it be a dyslexia. Ours, we had tried to work on a broader scale where we're helping those who have difficulties with reading, writing, and maybe math. Those who are on the spectrum of autism. When we talked about executive functioning skills, it also linked into ADD, ADHD, trying to help students be able to focus. So what's unique about the program, it helps address those three areas daily.
Well, that helps a lot. Now, do you engage with the parents during the school year and with the program, or how do parents' role fit into the whole equation?
Oh, absolutely. The success of every student is the partnership and relationship we have with them. So we have a home and partnership. And we want moms and dads to encourage them, you play parents. You do the job of being the parent, but let us as experts do the job of helping educate the child. Now, we need to do this together. It is a partnership. But the parents are very involved and great communication with students, staff, and students, and with our parents. One key thing, though, is we do want our students to be able to have self-determination and self-advocacy, where we want them to be self-assured. But for that to happen, they need to start taking responsibility for themselves right off the bat. So if you're going to come to my school, if you're running late or you're running behind and you're not going to be able to make it, I want you to call me. I don't want your parents to have to call me. So right away, we want to put the responsibility on the students because they're going to earn everything they work for.
Speaking of earning, you have an interesting business model over there with respect to money and checkbooks and balancing checkbooks and buying products and services. How does that program work, and how does that help students?
Good question. And the way that approaches, we have a culture and climate of you're going to work. And when I talk with families when they come in. I can look at a student and say, do you like money? And 10 times out of 10, the kid's like, oh, yeah, I do like money. Well, this system, the program is based upon an incentive base where they're going to work, going to school. They're interchangeable terms. But they're going to school every day as they would as a regular school, and they're getting, their Carnegie units in high school. They're focusing on the reading, writing, math, and working for those credits to graduate. But in the same token, they're going to end up performing business skills. We focus on a work-based model. They're coming to work. By putting hours, you got to put in your 8-hour day with us at work. In each class, you are given an incentive to get money. You're going to get paid. Now, this money is not literally money. It's figuratively speaking money. This money is going to be used towards their being able to cash and take this check and move on to an activity. So what I'll do is I'll hire them and I'll contract them for 2 weeks. And when I start talking about stuff like that, it does help out with anxiety. It does help out with structuring, because you're going to start off your morning with your planner and a checkbook. And that planner is going to have everything laid out in front of you for 2 weeks. So the contracting begins with 2 weeks. You're going to end up going to your classes. And in these classes, you're doing your work as I mentioned, you would in other regular classes. But there's an incentive to get paid. And I'm going to need you to do 5 skills, these 5 vocational skills in each classes to get paid. And those 5 skills begin with being on time. The first part is again, work skills, being on time, being appropriately dressed. And then we're going to move into having your materials. And the 4th area is focusing on how you acted courteous in class. And the last, did you get the job done? Did you complete the task? And if you do those 5 soft vocational skills, I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars for that class.
When we come back after the break, we're going to find out where you can spend that money. So stay tuned. Be right back. Welcome back. I'm Lou Whelan, sitting here with Dr. Steve Palmer, head of school at the Cottage School and Special Needs School, one of the top 10 special needs schools in the United States, right here in Roswell, Georgia. And if you missed any of the show, it's on my website without commercial interruption, AtlantaCommunityProfiles.com. And Dr. Palmer was just talking about the program in the previous segment of earning money and managing a checkbook and managing your financial life. Now, once the student has the money from behaving properly and performing certain functions, what do they do with those funds?
Great question. What tying it all together is Monday through Thursday, they're going to class. They have their 5 periods in the morning, at lunchtime, and then I always would say to students, you work very hard, put your books, your backpack away. It's time to continue learning but having fun. So every day, Monday through basically Thursday, and then there's that caveat I'll talk about on Friday, but they do the rigor, the tough stuff, the math, the science. But after lunch, that's when the electives come in, and the electives are very broad for our school. They range from horseback riding, rock wall climbing. We've got 3 wonderful mountain bike trails, various forms of martial arts. So the electives are still getting their electives in as they would in another school, but they're, again, experiential learning, a lot of hands-on, a lot more skills they're developing in those electives. Now, Friday comes, they have their homeroom, and then, as I mentioned earlier, there are different levels. They go to a business meeting. So in this business meeting, they're sitting with their peers, their friends, their colleagues, and our school, again, wants to focus on not only the reading, writing, math, but those social and emotional skills that they need to take them to the next level in that big world out there. So they have the opportunity to move up. When I say move up, we have basically 4 levels at the school. E, 1, 2, 3. It's just like a business world where you start off as an employee. You're an entry-level employee. You're with under those 90 days of employment. Level 1, you're kind of a worker. You're finally getting the lay of the land. You're getting situated to move into a supervisor's position or a manager's position. Then level 3 is a leader. The beautiful scenario at our schools, those level 3s and 2s have worked very hard to get there. They've earned by completing their work. They're incentivized to also have a job. So level 3s hold a job on campus throughout the week or month, depending upon that job. So in this meeting, they have the opportunity to, we use that word, self-advocacy. They help promote themselves. It's like, hi, I'm Steve. I've worked very hard. I'd like to move up to level 3. In that meeting, our students give feedback. Our students give positive feedback and support. Also our faculty. Our faculty is very engaged. The wonderful faculty and staff that we have, they don't have their own lunchroom. They sit with the students, and we strategically place opportunities for these kids to work and cooperate with students and teachers to help them with these conversations and these skills that we talk about. So they get the feedback from the students, positive, and staff, and they get to move up to that level. They live in those levels at the school, and I'd say about almost 90+% of the kids, 90% of them live at that level 2 or 3. Now, after that is when they can spend their money. So they have an opportunity to write me a check to do one of 3 things. So they focused again on 2 weeks, contracts them for 2 weeks, and they have an opportunity to spend that money they worked hard on. First one is they get to write a check to go off campus. And again, you need to be a level 2 or 3 because we know you've earned and we trust that you are going to do the right thing. So in that mind, they pay to go off campus, and those trips range from, and they're planned throughout the year. So every 2 weeks we have one planned. Stone Mountain for the day, World of Coke for the day. They end up going to the zoo, the aquarium, Mario Andretti's, race car. So it's an incentive base where they work very hard for 2 weeks, and they get to spend their money on that activity. Second activity is most of them might say, hey, I've been to the zoo 100 times with my mom and dad. I'm going to stay on campus. So we have fabulous and engaging on-campus activities, whether it be craft day scenario or events where it's a field day, like Olympic events, so they can participate on campus. And then the third area is academics, just like work. If you miss work, you need to make it up. So those students work one-on-one with the teacher in the classroom until they get those academics done. There's ample opportunity to do that during the work day in the morning and afternoon, but if they don't, then they have that opportunity to make it up. On Monday morning, we want to make sure that everyone's academically current because we're moving forward, just like the goal again is learning. And the second piece is that they start with a 0 bank balance, and I hire them for 2 more weeks, and we move on from there.
I can sure see the benefit of that. And managing money is pretty critical in our society. And we're coming close to the break, and my producer over there is giving me the evil eye. But one thing we would like to talk about in the next break is how widespread is attention ADHD, how do parents diagnose it early, what are some warning signs, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about exercise and nutrition and drugs and societal influences. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. I'm Lou Wheeland. I'm having the privilege of having a very interesting conversation with Dr. Steve Palmer, head of school of the Cottage School in Roswell, one of the top 10 best rated, highest rated special education schools in the United States. And really academically, as right on a par with any school in the nation, really. Their teachers are winning every award that you can imagine. And but you know, one thing I would like to know is how widespread really is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and how widespread is it, and how does one diagnose early warning signals that one might have those?
Well, I'd share with you as coming from an educator's perspective, and there are doctors, MDs that will do diagnose and also recommend medication and various other things. But I also recommend nutrition, exercise, sleep. So looking at a lot of variables. Some kids are just they have that energy, and it is a big concern. It's been around for a while. Most people, adults, and I know a few of them. They'll say, "Well, I had that, and I have that."
Yeah.
And I was undiagnosed, and you learn as you're growing up to compensate for it. I always use the phrase, I say, go to your strengths, and I say cultivate those weaknesses. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of very successful people, that have had concerns and experience with having attention issues. So, as an educator, I see and have seen a lot of it. But again, you want to look and be concerned as they're struggling and listening to feedback from, again, professionals, the teachers. They're in the classroom, the counselors, the administration, listening to. At our school, we're all on the same page. We're very well together, and our school begins at fourth grade. That's the kind of the area where I say you go from learning to read to reading to learn. So a lot of families start noticing that around that third grade area that the child may have some areas of needs that need to be met by either, like I mentioned, whether looking at medication or looking at different nutrition. So it's a big concern. It always has and will continue to be.
Now, do you do assessments at the school yourself, or is there an independent organization or company that does that?
Our assessments are strictly academic. As we bring you in, we want to test you, and we use a national test, MAP testing, measurement of academic performance, and we kind of it's a great way to get feedback for students and also teachers. So our testing is based upon academics, as we use and refer and have a lot of the professionals out there with psychovals and therapists that will do their job and help us understand where these students are coming from.
And what kind of conditions actually do you see firsthand at school on an ongoing basis every day? How would you describe the conditions that you see in the students? How do you know? What does anxiety look like, for example?
As we talked earlier, kids are smart. These kids have come through and struggled a lot, and some of them where I say they didn't fail, the system failed them, in whatever organization and educational environment they may have been in, to struggle. So they're coming in struggling. I had a mom tell me a story. We had a play, and the play was over, and the mom was coming to me at the end of the play, and she was crying, and I thought that was kind of odd because it was a comedy. And I said, is everything all right? She tells me a story about how she saw her son before my school. I saw him at lunch. She visited him, and he was sitting at the table by himself. And she found that concerned, so she goes back a couple days later to see him on the playground, and he's sitting on a bench by himself. But her tears were in her eyes because she goes, but today he's a star. So he was in our play, and this young man was having struggles prior to us. Now, it all depends on the programs and the opportunities, and that's where I love the school, what it's done. The staff is phenomenal. The history is phenomenal. It allows those students that have different struggles to come in. That child had just had a major form of anxiety and wasn't being understood. So What we do here is we try to embrace the whole child, whether it be a learning difference, the anxiety, ADD, ADHD. So it's giving those kids those opportunities that they may never have.
Speaking of sports, tell us. I know I've looked on your website, and you do have quite an ambitious program of athletics. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, I love our sports. I love our arts and music too. We've got a great drama and music department. It's something that we encourage all students to get involved in. It's those extracurricular activities. The key element to that is we have a no-cut policy. So any child that wants to play gets to play. About 85% of our kids that go to school there participate in an after-school activity. As we all know, being in sports as an athlete, there's a lot of camaraderie, a lot of leadership, a lot of working together as a team. So our sports program, our emphasis is on the child being able to have that opportunity and succeed. Winning is a bonus. So winning, which the school has done very well in sports from baseball, basketball, golf, tennis, track field, cross country, the list goes on. But it's, again, addressing the whole child and their needs.
Take a look at their website. It's got tons of information about the school. It's at the Cottage School, Roswell, Georgia. And it describes you. And congratulations, by the way. Your sports program, it looks fantastic. I mean, your students do extremely well in comparison to other schools and other students in other schools throughout the area. But thanks for coming on the show, Dr. Palmer. We appreciate it. And now stay tuned for Dr. Bill Williams, Chairman and CEO of Swanee Dental Care, our dental health expert.